Well, I'm Marty Martin. I am the president of Drake University. I've been at Drake since 2015. Before that, I was at Gonzaga University in Spokane, Washington as the dean of the law school, chief academic officer, and then also an executive vice president. Kind of did different roles at different times. Way back in the day, I was a United States Air Force Judge Advocate General Officer, meaning a lawyer in the Air Force, and ended up retiring between active duty and reserve service in 2007.
Thank you. And there?
Yes, and my name is Anik Keel. I'm the Chief Global Affairs Officer and Dean of Global Programs at Drake University. And I've been at Drake for 15 years, always been in the field of international education for the last 20 years with a background in international studies and French. And so I lead the global efforts of the institution from big strategic initiatives to just day-to-day operations, supporting international students, sending students abroad, things like that.
So Drake was founded in 1881. We are organized around 7 colleges and schools. The vast majority of undergraduate programs that any student would want are at Drake University, so they can find a lot of choice and variety. We have about 4,500 students. 3,000 of those are undergraduates, so it's a big enough school that there's a lot of opportunity for academic programs and extracurricular and co-curricular activities, but it's small enough that it's very interpersonal. You know, students will find community, they'll get great support from staff, the faculty will know them by name, so they'll be able to kind of define what success looks like for them and then go and find it. Our fundamental strength is the integration of liberal arts and sciences with professional preparation. So we give our students those skills they need to be successful in life: critical thinking, analytical reasoning, the ability to communicate in written and verbal form, the ability to collaborate, to follow, and also to lead. And you pair that with them, they're acquiring the knowledge and skill they need in a profession. Because all the students and the families that send them to us have a vision for them to be successful. So they need to acquire the skill set and the knowledge to be successful in a field or fields. And when you combine that liberal arts orientation with that professional preparation, well, I'll talk about that generally, then let Dean Keel talk about that in application to an international student. Back to what I said a moment ago, we are big enough to have a large array of academic programs, a lot of opportunities in co-curricular and extracurricular activities. We're located in an incredibly vibrant city that we've been a part of, excuse me, since 1881. So we've got lots of contacts. And when you put all that together, it just means a student can have the complete collegiate experience at Drake University. Whatever that looks like for them. Do they want to be a leader in a student organization? Then they're going to get to do that. Do they want really high quality internships? They're going to get to do that. And they're going to get to do it at many different places if indeed that's their choice. All of that is going to be delivered one student at a time. We are really interpersonal. Relationships matter to us, and the aggregation of those relationships to community is one of the great strengths of Drake University. You're not going to come and kind of be left on your own. You're not going to come and get lost. You're going to find people, people are going to find you, you're going to find your community. When that happens, your anxiety goes down, your capacity to take advantage of what's there goes up, and you find the kind of success that I was referring to a moment ago. So that's for every single Drake student. I'll let Dean Keel talk about kind of applying that to our international students because they give them so much attention and counsel.
So we have a team of people that work specifically with international students all the way from the point of recruiting them from their home location to Drake. So we try to really create a seamless bridge experience for them. So they even attend a virtual orientation before they come to campus just to start to familiarize themselves with the campus environment and all the opportunities that are available. We work really hard to make sure our international students feel a part of the Drake campus community. That's very intentional. And because we're smaller in size, we're able to really provide a lot of one-to-one guidance with that. So we have advisors that work specifically with international students, in addition to their academic advising. So they have 2 advisors, actually. All students have 2 advisors, kind of a core advisor and then an advisor, a faculty member that advises them from their discipline. So in addition to those academic advisors, we have international student advisors, and they guide them on things related to taxes, Social Security, working in the U.S., whether that be working on campus or off campus as part of a curricular internship experience. Des Moines is very accessible to interns, so the majority of our students take advantage of internships, and that includes international students. So we also have a number of international student organizations on campus, and we have a large celebration every November of our international community. So students are invited to showcase their home cultures to the broader campus community, and hundreds of people attend this event. And it's such a beautiful celebration of all the ways that our community is diverse, and really we celebrate that. And students feel very comfortable coming to our office for something like needing to go to a doctor's appointment, all the way to help me, travel outside of the US, and some just large and small kind of decisions and choices they're not making alone. We provide a very supportive network for them, both within our office, but also the campus community at large. We really make it a very seamless, supportive experience for them. So
and even back to Des Moines, I mean, it's a big enough city that great restaurants, cultural amenities, sports activities, lots of outdoor activities, but it's not so big that you get lost in it. It's very you can navigate it very easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll start that. Again, we've been in Des Moines since 1881. Every single organization in town of any consequence has a has a Drake graduate in it, and oftentimes it's a Drake graduate that's leading it. We're the state capital, so lots of governmental activities, lots of Drake alums involved in those things. The cultural amenities, the nonprofits, again, it's just Drake people everywhere. And they love engaging with our students, whether that be informally or formally as an internship. And we get such positive comments about the performance of Drake students in going out and being part of these organizations. So that longevity and all those relationships create opportunity for our students that they take advantage of. Why don't you just talk about the life, the vibrancy of the amenities, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so one sort of small thing that ends up being a big thing is with a Drake ID, students can ride the public bus system in Des Moines for free. And so we are 5 minutes from downtown Des Moines. So international students often use the bus system to go downtown. There is a wide array of international celebrations in Des Moines as well that many students take part in and become kind of part of these international communities within the city as well. So in terms of just navigability, it's very, very easy to navigate using the Drake ID card. The other thing I'll mention is that we have a number of students, after the first 2 years, students can live off campus. And so they typically live in the Drake neighborhood, which is an area in the city of Des Moines. We have a bus that we own that drives a 2-mile radius around Des Moines and provides transportation opportunities for students. So it gives them a very, again, easy ability to go out into the community and to access what Des Moines has to offer. So in addition to internships, maybe they're just exploring with friends. The farmers market in Des Moines is, I think, the second largest farmers market in the United States. Just accessing things like that while they're a student is very easy, and we try to do what we can to help provide transportation and just helping them access the opportunities that are in Des Moines.
Yeah, Des Moines is actually a very internationally diverse city. There are 90 different languages spoken in the homes of the students attending Des Moines public schools.
Yeah.
It's been a hub for immigration for a long time. Again, it's kind of like Drake. It's just the right size. Big enough that it has a lot to offer, but not so big that you get some of the chaos that comes from that.
So we have a number of safety features at Drake's campus. We are an urban campus, so we are in Des Moines in the downtown area, and so we take some extra measures to make sure that it's a safe experience. So Students have the ability to download an app on their phone. It's called the Drake Guardian app. And that allows students to this is one example of what it does, allows students to set a timer for if they're alone, maybe studying across campus and there's a walk to get to their dorm, which isn't far. Drake is not a large campus, but they could set a timer for the approximate amount of time that it would take to walk there. If they don't turn it off, then it automatically notifies our campus public safety office, and they will go and make sure within a 40-foot radius, they can track, where a student's phone, location is using the app. So they can verify that a student is safe. And a lot of times, I think it's 99% of the time, they've just maybe have forgotten to turn off the the reminder. But that's just one way that we keep, give students very an accessible way to ensure safety. I mentioned the bus. We have this free transportation for Drake students that can go up to 2 miles outside of campus, and it's free. And they do about 30,000 rides per year. So if a student wants to go, study at night and then go home, they have an option to use this bus to get home. So, and that I want to point out is very particular for a campus like Drake's, because when international students come, they obviously most of the time don't have a car. So we want to make sure when students come to campus without transportation that they can access the same opportunities and feel just as able to attend things and to really experience not only Drake but the city of Des Moines. We also have bike stands that you can rent a bike for, I think it's $20 for a semester, and you can have 1 hour unlimited rides and several bike stands throughout the city, so students have access to bikes in that way. So we take safety very seriously. Our campus public safety has a number of officers, and then we also deploy from time to time for larger events and things, Des Moines police officers. So we hire them throughout the year for specific events. Our crime statistics are very, very low. There's a federal report called the Cleary Report that if families are curious about the crime statistics for a particular campus, they can look up the Cleary Report for a particular campus, and I encourage any Korean family to look at the Cleary Report for Drake, and they'll see the crime statistics are very low, and it's a big pride point for us because we want students to feel safe. We know when you're sending your child to another country, there's a lot of uncertainty, so we want to put as many assurances in place for students when they come.
Well, in the politics space, yes, there's lots of opportunity, and we're known for that. So we attract students who want to be involved in this political atmosphere, and they can work on helping us put on the event itself. As I said a moment ago, many of them will get connected to the campaigns and get some opportunity to be a part of those campaigns, or in the media. We've had students who've been hired by, for example, the Associated Press to cover an event that comes to campus. And that's a really big deal, that you're able to submit material to the Associated Press and get credit for that. Even outside the political events, depending upon the scope and scale, we'll have students that might help operate cameras out of our digital media production department or do some of the publicity for this. Any way that we can get students involved, we want to. When we have those major speakers that I talked to you about a moment ago, one of the conditions, if you will, of them coming to be that speaker is we want them to have a small group experience with our students. So Bob Woodward, for example, very famous reporter for the Washington Post, was with us last year, and he spent 2 hours meeting with our journalism students, just talking about his life's experience and being able to answer their questions. That happens every time we bring one of these major speakers. We connect them to students that are relevant to their discipline. Actuarial science has been one of our strongest programs for decades. We are one of 16 centers of actuarial excellence in the country, and as certified by the Society of Actuaries, and we're one of 32 centers of actuarial excellence in the world. So this is, again, one of our best programs. And yes, you're right, math. If you like math, actuarial science is a great career path for you. because of course it's a key component of being an actuarial science professional, but it's also a very valuable profession. And it's a profession, it's a degree program at Drake that many international students have taken advantage of over the years. Frequently, always, there are international students in our actuarial science program.
Students, when students graduate with an actuarial science major, what I love about the program is it's a great option for students who excel in math and statistics, but may not want to go into a field just for that. It's really, it broadens opportunities for things like risk management. So actuaries are calculating risk, right? So they could work at a big insurance company where they're looking at, you know, really calculating risks for the insurance provider. So it broadens beyond just the math into kind of critical thinking and things like that. And international students absolutely have, like President Martin said, taken advantage of the national, kind of international profile that our actuarial science program has. When students graduate from college in the United States, they have access, as you know, to OPT, optional practical training, and they can work in the United States for 1 year after this program ends. Well, Des Moines is home of really an international hub for insurance companies, and so our actuarial science majors have a plethora of opportunity to do something like OPT or even intern throughout their academic experience. While they're in school, they can do curricular practical training. So the hands-on experiences are absolutely available to actuarial science majors, including international students.
Yeah, and it's a discipline that moves across international boundaries pretty easily.
Right.
Again, as Anik mentioned, many of the companies in Des Moines have, well, they're international companies. So the Principal Financial Group, I mean, they've got major operations in Asia and South America in particular. So you can take that skill set, develop it on our campus, have the opportunity to work afterwards in the United States, but then have no problem taking what you've learned, taking what you've developed, and coming back to your home country or going elsewhere.
So I mentioned the optional practical training program, OPT. So a lot of universities don't provide a lot of hands-on support for the OPT program. Our staff does. So we really want to make sure that because students are afforded that opportunity, that they can take advantage of it. So we actually cultivate relationships within the Des Moines business community to help them understand what OPT is and how really easy it is for them to access talent, really wonderful talent in our international student population through the OPT program. So we spend time cultivating those relationships and helping businesses understand what the program is, so that when it comes time for the student to look for a position, we've got those relationships built with the companies already. So it's not a kind of going blind out into the workforce type of experience because of the type of hands-on support that we provide throughout their Drake experience, but also in support of the OPT program.
Yeah. So I don't think we've said this. 92% of our graduating seniors have one or more internships. 92%. And again, our international students are provided support and opportunities along the same lines.
Yeah, it's something that we're very proud of. You'll find across the United States there's often a different rate of tuition for international students, or different level of support, I should say, for the bottom line of tuition. And so a lot of times international students are paying a higher rate in the end of net tuition. And because we believe so strongly in a diverse community full of people from all over the world, we want to make sure that a Drake education is accessible to everyone. And so we offer the same level of, all students at Drake qualify for the presidential scholarship if they meet our admission criteria. Same for international students. So they're provided the same presidential scholarship that domestic students are offered. And so that is a very unique feature of Drake and something that we're very proud of. In addition to that, if students have financial need, in addition to the presidential scholarship, they can acquire an international student grant. And so that is specifically for students that demonstrate financial need. And so between the presidential scholarship and the international student grant, we really believe that that makes Drake as affordable as possible when you're looking across the context of private and public universities. And we're very competitive even amongst public universities with what our students would be paying.
Well, first and foremost, we stay grounded in the essential thing we do, which is help students find success. That integration of liberal arts and sciences with professional preparation so that when they walk across the graduation stage, they're ready for what comes next in their life. And they'll be ready for a lifetime because of the preparation they'll get at Drake University. So that's the fundamental thing we do. Thinking about the next 5 years, one of the most, I think, a place we'll certainly spend a lot of time is on globalization. Recently, Dean Keel's office moved from being an office to becoming a division, and now reports directly into the office of the president. And that's just an example of how much importance we're putting on globalization at Drake. And that includes bringing students to Drake, which is the conversation we're having right now. It also includes sending Drake students out into the world. We're one of the leading schools in the country on study abroad experiences for our students. It also includes us bringing academic programs to various locations around the world. Any way and every way that we can make Drake a more global institution, we're committed to doing that. And so it's really exciting for us to be involved in this conversation with you about even more Korean students coming to be a part of the Drake community.